I've been using Microsoft's xCloud for more than a week. Here's what you need to know. What's up everybody, Brad here, and Microsoft's xCloud has been available now for, well, if you're in the early access program, you've had it for well over a week, and I've been using it since the day it became available, and I gotta tell you, I'm pretty impressed. Now, there's some big caveats that you need to know about before you go diving in or trying to set your expectations. And later in this video, I will have some actual gameplay that will give you some better hands-on, but I wanna just talk about a couple things first. I tried this on two different phones, a Nexus 6P, which has a Snapdragon 810 CPU, and then primarily what I was using was the Nexus 6T, which has a Snapdragon 845, representing a much more higher end, more modern phone, and probably what more people who are interested in xCloud are more than likely to be using. But technically speaking, according to Microsoft, this Nexus 6P should work with xCloud, and I'm here to tell you it doesn't. Well, it runs xCloud, but it's not a good experience. First off, the phone just kind of struggles in itself running newer versions of Android. And so I want you guys to understand that if you have a really low end Android phone, there are going to be, you honestly may not be able to run xCloud. Now, if you have anything more modern, at least a Snapdragon 845, I don't know what the exact basement is going to be here for xCloud, but a Snapdragon 845 works pretty dang well. And for the majority of my xCloud timing or gaming experience, and especially the video that I'm going to show here in a little bit, that is what I have been using, and it works great, minus some issues. Now, you guys asked a lot of questions about latency, about input versus LTE, or I don't think you could play this on 3G, LTE, and all sorts of different things. And so I'm here to tell you, it all kind of works. It works well on my home Wi-Fi. I also took it outside my house. I went to Panera, into Starbucks, and played a little bit of gaming. And so the one thing that I don't have in the video later, which I'm going to show you here in an overhead view, granted, I know it is a little bit hard to see here, but this is the controller setup. This is just an attachment that I got on Amazon. They're not expensive. There is the official Microsoft one, but obviously we have Sea of Thieves, we have Killer Instincts, we have Halo, Gears 5. But I want to show you, this is how it all works. So you hit play here, and then you get this game streaming preview. This is probably the longest loading screen. Now, it did load, of course, they're a little bit faster because I have been running it. What if we jump between games here? Because I want to show you some actual, how long that load screen is, because that is, when it comes to like loading and latency, that is the longest right here, is this screen. Now, it's not bad, but it's just something you should be aware of, and it will just sit here and load, and it takes a minute or two, depending on what is going on and how fast your connectivity is, but it's not terrible. Again, you got to remember what's happening in the background here is that Microsoft is setting up your game stream. It's connecting to your xCloud instance. It's getting your game ready. And if this is the worst part of it, we're pretty dang lucky. But you can see there, it's not all that bad. It's not that bad. It's really not. But that is just something to be aware of. It's not like you tap the game and then all of a sudden you're back into it. But what you can see here, at least on this, once you get into it, it looks and feels just like a normal Xbox game. And that's kind of the thing here, is I'll be really candid. There were times when playing Halo here that I kind of forgot that I was playing on a phone. Let me turn this off here, get back. Quit that game, otherwise we're going to get a lot of background noise. We'll start Halo up and see if we can get some of that background jazz playing for the next minute or so. But here's the deal. It works well. It's not perfect. What's not perfect about it? Well, if you pay attention really close to when I show this video, which, why don't we just start playing that now? In the game, when you hit A, X, Y, and B, and even the bumpers and the triggers, it feels like the response is almost instantaneous. Like, it is really dang good. Where you notice the latency is with the analog stick input. There is definitely some, and there's no sugarcoating it, but it's not that bad. And I'm not going to spoil the end here, but definitely check out the very end, because you'll actually see my score playing online. And this is me just playing on xCloud against other people playing Halo 5 online. And I'm here to tell you guys, this seems candidly like it might really work. And I say that because P2P, especially a game like Halo, first-person shooter, is probably the hardest segment to hit, right? It's Twitch-based. You have other people streaming like content to you, right? Because they're playing online. This is all coming from the Microsoft servers, but it's all streaming to your phone. And the quality, I am very surprised at how good this actually worked out. The stream coming down, while it is a little bit saturated on here because this setup was a little bit hard to get configured because I needed to show off the controller, but I also needed to show off the gameplay. And so the lighting differences there made it a little bit of a pain in the butt. And I will keep in mind, I should say, is that I am sitting very awkwardly. I have a camera under my chin, and I have my arms stretched out pretty far so that they get into the camera shot so you can see everything. So I'm sitting very uncomfortably. All that being said, it was fun. I enjoyed it. Sea of Thieves worked really well. Killer Instincts works pretty well. But I personally enjoyed Halo the most, which is why I'm showcasing it here. With all that, you will notice in my gameplay that there are times that I overcorrect or I overshoot people or I have trouble getting on. That is the latency between the analog sticks and the screen. I didn't have any issues with latency between any of the other buttons, just the analog sticks, which I'm hoping that Microsoft is probably aware of based on I've given them a lot of feedback or sent some about that. But that is the area that needs the most improvement out of all this. But again, this is a preview. It is not launched. And even if it did launch in this, I wouldn't say it's bad. We still don't fully know the business model yet, but it's doable, guys. Like I said before, like there were times I kind of forgot that I was actually playing on a phone connected to over Bluetooth. The best way to describe the latency between the thumbsticks and the screen is it kind of feels like the first like early iterations of Bluetooth using an input device, if you guys ever did that. Now, is there a difference between home Wi-Fi and on-the-road Wi-Fi, or LTE, I should say? I personally did not have any issues. You're going to need some big bandwidth pipes to get that full streaming fidelity coming down, but at the end of the day, it is possible. Microsoft clearly has the technology here, and I'm just going to let this keep playing out, and you guys can watch it, and then jump to the end of the clip if you want to see some conclusions and all that other stuff, and yeah, so just enjoy.
Sniper in 10. Friendly down. Contact in cinema. Sniper's up. Charged and ready. The lead. Seconds to sniper rifle.
No.
Game over. Victory.
All right, guys. So I just pulled up. It's going to be a little bit hard to see here on this phone, but I mean, if people really want to get, nitty gritty about it. So I've used this. It's hard to quantify exactly how many minutes of game streaming I've done on this device because I've changed some configurations around just trying to play. But I've used 3 gigs of data since October 23rd. So that was the last time I refreshed the device. So that's probably not perfect, but that's not terrible. It's not terrible. Obviously, you're going to need to be careful of your bandwidth caps if that is your thing, especially like when you're using your cellular, not at home. Again, you guys need to understand, and watching your data caps is something that I need to pay more attention to help give you guys a better estimate, and I'll pay attention to it a little bit closer. But I was expecting that it was actually going to be a bit higher than that. You gotta remember, it's streaming high quality stuff. I would have put it somewhere up like Netflix style usage, I think is probably fair because it's doing very similar stuff. But at the end of the day, guys, here's kind of like my thoughts on xCloud. I was surprisingly impressed with how well it has worked so far. It is not perfect, but it is better than good at this current iteration. Microsoft is very clearly aware of the latency and some of the stuff with the thumbsticks. And I know I keep harping on that because it's there. You can't ignore the fact that it's there. But as you saw in the Halo, I actually came out on top. I had 15 kills. Now, granted, I had 13 deaths. I died a lot. And you could very clearly see instances where that latency was impacting me because I couldn't quite lock on or whatnot. But at the end of the day, I got 15 kills. I had a positive KD playing Halo on xCloud on my phone, streaming from the cloud. That is impressive. I don't think I would have imagined that it would have done that well. Now, granted, not every game goes that well. And obviously, I have to thank my teammates for helping and supporting. You always got to give a shout out to the crew that makes it possible. But xCloud is here, guys. It's not just some vaporware pipe dream that Microsoft occasionally talks about or shows off. I have access to it. Many others, and Microsoft is rolling out more, and it works. It works better than I thought. It's not perfect, but it has me really dang excited about the future of Xbox.